My life with my female humanoid robot partner. Can robots truly serve to reduce loneliness and depression by replacing humans as companions to their better halves? Let's find out. The 2020s, the decade of the personal robots. From R2-D2 in Star Wars to T-800 in The Terminator to Optimus Prime in Transformers on film, and from Vici in Small Wonder to Cheese in Friends on television. We all have been exposed to the sci-fi world of how robots will interact with humans. But with recent tech advances, robots are literally coming to life more quickly than we expect. In fact, we believe that by the end of the 2020s, robots will be as ubiquitous as cell phones today. Essentially, a decade from now, you could walk into a restaurant and be served by a robot waiter, be greeted by a robot receptionist at the hotel, be ticketed for jaywalking by a RoboCop, or walk into a hospital, a departmental store, or even an office and be helped around by a robot helper. Robots have been in space, are used for military applications, and are helping manage farms and livestock remotely. And this is not the end of the list. There are several more applications. For example, in healthcare alone, we have surgical robots, medical robots, telepresence robots, and several kinds of service robots, including delivery and transportation robots for hospital use. Disruptive startups in the healthcare industry are also bringing us robots for personal use, with specific healthcare objectives in mind. But one particular category deserves a special mention because it tackles another hidden, unmet need of the general population, that of social companionship. An example being the Intuition Robotics LEQ robot. Social companionship and loneliness. While technology closes the communication and distance gap, isolation and loneliness continue to spiral and are expected to become a global pandemic. The links between physical and mental health are well established. For example, those suffering from depression have a 1.6 times higher risk of developing diabetes or heart diseases. Loneliness is a growing problem the world over, from the US to Australia. The percentage of US adults who say they feel lonely has doubled from 20% in the 1980s to 40%. One-third of elderly, 65-plus Americans, and half of those over 85 live alone. Loneliness and suicide are linked. Social isolation is the most common factor in men who attempt suicide. Companionship for needs. Our visions for the future have always included robots that perform domestic chores while we humans relax. Somewhere along the way came the idea of having a robotic social companion who could perform household chores and could also connect with the user at not just an emotional level, but also at a full one. It is well established that experiencing bliss helps to release neurotransmitters called endorphins, which in turn help to activate the pleasure centers of the brain, promoting generalized relaxation. On an emotional level, this also means a feeling of closeness and bonding. In a related example, separation stress in babies can be quickly alleviated by reuniting them with their mothers, which is also known to result in the release of endorphins. This may apply here as well. It may help reduce separation stress, which may help people feel less alone. By some estimates, the current physical tech industry is already worth $30 billion and growing. The logical next step towards such ever-infamous dolls are robots. Fembots, yes, but also male robots. And it isn't just men who will be interested. Real Dolls, a manufacturer of such dolls, and soon of robots, claims that 5% of their customers are women, while the remaining 95% are men. Technological and manufacturing advances have responded to the demand for humanoid life-size dolls to become available. Add in today's evolution in artificial intelligence, voice recognition, facial recognition, motion sensing, and animatronic tech, and you have the potential for a real-life robotic companion. Such robots in high demand. There is a huge demand for such robots, especially from existing doll users. But this raises the question, why the high demand? To search for the answer, we delved deeper to understand the types of users for these products, categorized by the reasons they seek comfort in robotic arms. The social misfits are those who already have a hard time forming human connections, or who for other reasons are typically outcast. Next on the scale, from need to selfishness, are the bereaved and the elderly. Holding on to the memory of their loved one by creating a replica of the deceased partner or using the robots for companionship is the real need for this category. The long-distance couple is a potential category which may use such robots to stay in with one another, but this is more likely to happen in the future than now. Just a step away from truly selfish behavior is the category of the unhappy spouse, who maintains a concurrent relationship with their inanimate lover. Finally, the selfish bachelors, understood here in a gender-neutral form, are those who only prefer non-human companions in order to avoid the inconvenience associated with human ones, ambitions, needs, and annoying habits. What is robo-companionship like? The scandalized nature of the discussion revolving around such robots may mask the true underlying need, the desire for companionship. For most, it is about filling an emotional void, created by either the inability to form new relationships, social misfits, by bereavement, or by unfulfilling marital relationships. This is already exemplified in the growing use of such dolls by Japanese men. Here we quote a 43-year-old Japanese man with over 10 of such dolls as saying, "It's more about connecting on an emotional level for me now." The need for companionship is significant and rising, with the wish to have someone waiting at home, ready to listen to all issues without grumbling and to love unconditionally, becoming dominant. While in the past there were no such options, tech advances have made loving, talking, and artificially intelligent inanimate robots available as a suitable alternative. Some selfish bachelors category users fantasize about a future involving an inanimate companion who would be always available at home and perhaps even cook and take care of all household chores for them, all with the sole objective of keeping them happy. Although this category may form a majority of the buyers for such robots now, they and the smaller long-distance couple category will undoubtedly be a minority of the potential buyers for companion robots, simply because their expectations are very different. A real-world example. A loved-up bloke dating his 2,000-pound doll has spoken out about their relationship despite still being with his wife of 36 years. James, 58, is in a relationship with a 5-foot-tall doll called April, and his wife Teen doesn't mind. He is still with his wife, but admits to being physical 4 times a week with the blonde doll, and he even takes her on dinner dates. The engineer is now saving up to get his hands on the world's first such robot Harmony, who is being designed to talk, smile, and react during full activities. April sometimes sleeps cuddling with James, and the two began seeing each other while Teen was having to care for her sick mother. He said, "If I had to choose between April and my wife, I honestly don't know what I would do." Every guy has in his head the perfect girl, and this is what I see when I look in the mirror. Most manufacturers make them look something in the region of 20 years old. For a man of my age, it's a fantasy because I will never be a Brad Pitt or something like that. He added, "The physical aspect of doll ownership is a very small part of it. What you find more pleasure from in the long run is looking after them, dressing them, putting on their makeup, and interacting with them. I feel deeply for her, more deeply than I had ever imagined." The pair go out for hamburgers together, and James claims a lot of people don't even notice she is not a breathing person. He said, "It's amazingly like being full with a real woman. The biggest difference is whatever position you want them in, you have to put them in, as they will not get there on their own." James added April on the behind is not unlike the real thing, and claims she is more than just a toy. Teen, too, said she struggled at first when he started to date dolls, but has now grown accustomed to their relationship. There you have it, folks. That's all for today. See you another time.